Hi, Cody.
Hi.
Brother of Cameron.
Yeah.
So I just talked to Cameron for a little while about Equiscope, the Pain-Free Institute, what you guys are doing here, the cutting edge technology that I mean, unfortunately, a lot of people don't know about. He gave us a really good rundown of what it is and kind of the amazing things that it can do.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to getting your perspective on this as well, because you're just as involved, right?
Yeah, we've both had about 8 years of working with the device and learning about it. Cameron got the device, and I think he told his story about how he got introduced to it, and then about a month to 2 months after he fixed his injury and came back, I tore my medial meniscus on my left leg playing volleyball with the Olympic team. And it was so horribly damaged. I mean, my knee was twice the size with inflammation. It was hot and swollen and painful. Every time I would try and step, it would pop out of place. I, needless to say, couldn't play any sports. I could barely walk from, the couch to the fridge. And
God, you guys and your injuries.
yeah.
Oh my God. No wonder why you fell into this.
Sure. And I mean, there's a lot of other people out there and a lot of other athletes that go through such horrible stuff, much worse than we had it. But so we feel very blessed to have been introduced to it, and part of the reason why we have PFI and are sharing this and telling as many people as we can. But so I was not able to do anything. Cameron said, "Hey, buddy, come over and let me strap this on you. Fix me. Let me see if it can help you." And in about 5 to 6 weeks, right around 10 sessions, I was back on the court playing Olympic volleyball with no loss in range of motion, no pain, no inflammation, no swelling. Knee wasn't popping out of place. I almost felt better than I did before the injury, as weird as that sounds. And I know Cameron has said that too, that you feel like all the muscle systems and everything is just flowing correctly, and there's not a stagnation going on in that area of the body. It's almost like it's freed up your consciousness to not even have to address that and send energy, positive energy to that area to heal it. It's just doing what it's supposed to do already, which is really nice. Yeah.
Can you talk about what we were just talking about during our little break, about oh gosh, what was it? You were telling me it was another case study that was just incredible. Oh, the paraplegic?
Sure, yeah. So a lot of times, things get misdiagnosed. And a lot of times, I guess we were making the analogy, if we sit with our legs crossed for too long, your foot falls asleep, you can't feel it, don't have any movement in it. Kind of that same thing will happen with spinal injuries, and when people are no longer able to use their legs or their arms because that part of the spinal cord has been squeezed off and the energy can no longer flow, because we are electrical beings. And then you get the loss of the use of your legs or your arms. And when you're able to remove that inflammation from that area of that energy highway in the spine, all that energy starts to flow freely again, or you can get impingement gone, or you can get the vertebrae to release or to get more fluid in the discs of your spine. All these amazing things start to happen because the energy can flow correctly now. And so you can get people to, stand up out of their wheelchairs that haven't been able to because they've just had so much inflammation, or that energy highway has been blocked off, or either from heavy metals or toxins or scar tissue that's formed from a surgery, or from previous injury that wasn't able to be addressed before. Now is gone, and you have all the systems acting like they're supposed to.
So you've seen this. You've seen someone who was paralyzed and in a wheelchair, then get some treatments or sessions done from the Equiscope.
Yeah.
And then they're fine.
And then stand up, yeah.
And they stand up and they're walking?
Yeah.
Like, would you say that they were cured?
I don't know about that word. That's a pretty dangerous word in the medical community. But we were able to remove, the issues that were going on, or the body was able to remove the issues that were going on in that area, which, stopped that energy flow from communicating with the rest of the body, and then everything comes back into play that, the body knows how to do. So, if you got, and that's the body's natural response too, is the thing is, when you bang your elbow, it swells up with inflammation. So, and whenever you move it, it hurts. It's your body telling you, don't move that. We want to get as much healing going on to this area. And so, if there are other issues in the body, or it's in an area that the body wants to really protect, it'll sometimes seal that area off and kind of quarantine it. So things aren't able to come in, or things aren't able to go out. So a lot of that inflammation or that swelling or that fluid will stay and, continue to wreak havoc, because the body says, hey, we gotta contain this so every other thing can flow naturally. It's kind of like what happens when you're stuck out in the snow. The first thing that'll happen is your fingers and your toes will turn black, because those are the things that don't need the blood flow to keep the organism alive. So those will start to go, and then the legs and the body will start to cut the blood flow to the legs and the arms to protect all of the vital organs. And so that's kind of the same idea, is it'll quarantine stuff that's not serving. And, if it can continue to stay alive, the organism, then it'll keep that system sitting in, whatever disarray it is, as long as you can continue, whatever homeostasis happens to be at that point in time. So we can, to go back, we can eliminate all of that inflammation, and amazing things happen when you do. So that'll allow people to get in control of their legs again, of their limbs, of whatever might be squeezed off, neck pains, headaches, concussions, that energy pathway and that highway up and down the spine and the neck is so important, and the brain is simply just, a computer, that tells everything how to work.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that, about
Sure.
how it can affect the brain too. You guys were talking about PTSD,
Right.
some other neurological disorders. I hadn't even thought about that.
Sure.
How does that work? Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching the episode. If you're interested in contributing to the conversation and supporting the show, there's 2 easy things you can do. 1, click subscribe, and 2, visit our Patreon page where you get exclusive access to the Exploring Minds community.